We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for Jacks, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting Jacks.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting Jacks Report. Along with Mauricio Ruiz, I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, Becky Burleigh joins us in studio to discuss the USL Super League and some more broad topics around the sport. Plus, in our youth soccer spotlight, we'll hear from Sydney Schmidt, one of the best soccer prospects to ever come out of the Jacksonville area. But let's start with the playoff push in the USL Championship. Mauricio, the regular season ends on October the 26th, so we're less than 8 weeks away from the last chance to make the playoffs. This is where things get interesting. What do teams need to be most concerned with right now as we head into the stretch run?
Well, if they can stay healthy, that's going to help them along the way. Now, hopefully, they've had their identity already developed at this point, and now it's about how do we win? It's capturing those wins. What is the best combination in the attack, defense? Can you stop the bleeding if you've been bleeding, and can you get on that positive momentum rolling forward?
No doubt about it. Being on the upswing in the final month plus of the season is going to be huge. And we saw a team that is right now looking like they're getting on an upswing for sure. Part of our Island Wing Company USL Championship Game of the Week. This week's game had goals galore as North Carolina hosted Louisville. To Wake Med Park we go. And sometimes the Game of the Week's a tough one to choose from. Not this week. The highest scoring game of the year so far. It didn't take long for the goals to start coming. 11th minute, a free kick. Rodrigo da Costa starts things for North Carolina.
What a beautiful strike by Da Costa here. Left footed. You can see curling away from the keeper. Really nothing he can do. Perfect upper 90 placement there.
Now, we've seen Louisville score goals in bunches this season, and it happened again. 18th minute off a corner kick. Nobody marks Jansen Wilson, who scores his 7th of the year. It's 1-1.
Well, Quinn, you see Lou City does a great job at crowding the keeper. He tries to come out into the 6-yard box line. Doesn't get enough of it. And like you said, Wilson just back post taps it in.
29th minute now, North Carolina with a passing clinic here. Ezra Armstrong gets to this long ball. He sets up Olex Anderson with a beautiful ball to give North Carolina the lead again.
Yeah, and that is a delicious pass by Ezra there, Armstrong. Just put it on the platter for Anderson. All you have to do is just be in the right place at the right time and put it away.
Take another look. The weight of this pass is what is so impressive. Nothing at all to stress the goal scorer. Anderson there. 3 minutes later off another Louisville corner, and watch this one get reset. Ray Serrano then will send it in. North Carolina's Paco Craig tries to head it away, but it glances off him and into the net. We're tied at 2 again.
Yeah, that second phase off our free kick. You're trying to come out. Paco does as much as he can to kind of get the ball out of bounds, but unfortunately deflects at the back of his head and goes in. 36th minute now, another Lou City corner. Serrano curls this one in. It falls to Wilson, who caroms it off Justin Malo for another own goal. Louisville's up 3-2. Yeah, pretty similar there. The difference is there's a little deflection in the near post. Keeper stays steady, but Wilson at back post puts it away once again.
Then first half stoppage time, turnabout is fair play. This time a North Carolina corner, and this one goes in off the head of Louisville's Kyle Adams. We're level at 3.
Yeah, but Paco Craig, who claimed this, trying to make right with his own goal on the other side, and he gets a goal in the books.
Second half now, 56th minute, the combination of Anderson and Armstrong at it again. Anderson goes top shelf, and this helps North Carolina regain the lead. It's now 4-3.
And Cole, this is a world-class finish by Anderson. Lou City giving them a little bit too much time and space coming into the box. They're just backpedaling as you see it here, but don't take anything away from this finish. This is world-class.
All right, a pivotal moment then, just moments after the ensuing kickoff. They were still announcing the previous goal when Paco Craig commits a foul in the box. That's a penalty.
Well, it's like nobody wants to keep the lead here. Everyone's just willing to trade it away back and forth. And Paco once again on the receiving end of putting his team down.
And Wilson Harris, the league's second leading goal scorer, puts away his 15th of the season. Lou City back level 4-4. And we're not done yet. 9 minutes later, Louisville on the attack again. Aiden McFadden with a beautiful through ball. Harris gets to it and puts it away. Lou City back in front, 5-4.
Yeah, and in North Carolina here, Lou City will make you pay if you keep him along in the game. And Harris, he hadn't had his yet. And if you imagine a game with this many goals, Harris is going to get his. Great through ball and beautiful finish.
Now the 79th minute for good measure. It's Wilson again off a reset following a corner. And Wilson gets his brace. 6-4 the final. Lou City with 6 goals and 3 points in North Carolina. What a game. Let's take a look at some of the scores from around the league. Obviously, 6-4 jumps right out at you, but there's some. Colorado Springs putting up a 4 spot in a victory at FC Tulsa.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Vegas there against Orange County Soccer Club getting another win, and Rhode Island, they just kind of stay relevant right there in the middle of the table.
All right, let's take a look at the standings as we start in the Western Conference. New Mexico on top in our Got Sports standings. Sacramento trying to keep pace, but New Mexico really pulling away. The most interesting battle right now, Mauricio, is at the bottom of the playoff run. Anybody over 8th will get into the postseason, and look at how many teams are within striking distance of a playoff spot.
Yeah, you really have 5 teams there with so many games still, still to go that can make into the playoffs. But take your eye into number 3, Oakland Roots, just 1 point behind Sacramento. They do have a couple games ahead, but not too far. Oakland Roots, which is a team that kind of sat in the middle of the table last year, they're contending for the top of the table this year.
Now in the Eastern Conference, where it has really become a 2-horse race with Lou City on top of Charleston. Tampa Bay has a little bit of a gap, but then you look at from teams 4 down through, say, 10, 11, everybody competing for a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, really. Outside of Miami, no one is out. And Miami got their win, this weekend. But outside of Miami, no one is out. Look at Hartford in 11th place. They're only 3 to 4 points away from getting to the playoffs. So it's going to be an interesting finish as we kind of, creep into the end of the season.
All right, let's take time now to invite you to join us on October the 6th before the Jaguars face the Colts for a youth soccer clinic in the Flex Field. Kids age 4 through 13 can get coaching from JU soccer players and coaches from 10:30 till noon. And then they can watch the Jaguars take on the Colts. This is also the game where Tom Coughlin will be inducted into the Pride of the Jaguars. And it's the throwback uniform game as well. Should be a good one. Entry fees start at $59, and there's also a deal for companions that includes a ticket to the game. For more information, go to the Events tab on sportingjacks.com. All right, time now for Mauricio's Corner. And today, Mal, you're looking at a team that has been one of the surprise teams in the league this year. We just showed you they're in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference, and that is Detroit City FC.
Yeah, that's exactly. They have a new coach, Danny Dicio, I should say. He's really forming the identity of the club. He keeps talking about this is a transition year. Well, they're sitting 4th place. I guarantee you as they go towards the back end of the season here, they want to do more than transition. They really want to compete for a championship.
All right, let's take a look at what you're seeing from them on the field. And this is pretty representative of what we've seen. Yeah,
a team that's very tactically adaptable. And I think that's the one thing that the coach has put into place. You can see they're actually building they're a 4-3-3, but in the build-up, they drop in a center mid into the back 3, which makes it difficult. Do I press? Do I not press? They're okay with going over the top. They get numbers into the attacking half, and they just create chances and overloads in different areas outside and then a lot of numbers into the box.
Well, we see those opportunities built up. Remember, they also had a pretty good run into the U.S. Open Cup, so they played a lot of matches this year.
They really do, and you can see their identity forming. It's always about how can I make those runs in behind. So as much as they keep they're a possession team when they get into the attacking half, but you see those attacking players always looking to get in behind. But here's where their tactical adaptability comes in. I want you to see in the top end of the screen, that's the left back at the bottom, that's the left winger at the top, but they're going to, in their exchange, make it confusing for those two defenders. Who do I mark? They actually interchange the ball with each other. They're getting beyond again, and now they can play. Right now, they put the opposition in Tulsa here in this case on their back heel. They get penetrated passes. They're not a team that scores a lot of goals, Cole. They're not getting that final product. They really don't have a great roster as far as talent is. So for them to be in 4th place, just creeping up, they're only 4 goals in goal differential positive compared to Lou City and to Tampa. They're all 20 goals positive. For you to be in 4th place, only 4 goals positive, that means that you're really making it difficult for the other teams. And you can see they go about it in different ways, and they really adapt to their opposition quite well.
Well, if they stay healthy and keep doing what they're doing, particularly at home, they're going to be a tough out once the playoffs roll around.
Absolutely.
Coming up, we hear from Becky Burleigh. We'll get her thoughts on the start to the USL Super League. Remember, you can become a member of Sporting Jacks. It's absolutely free. Just go to sportingjacks.com to sign up. You'll get a discount on club merchandise, invitations to VIP events, entries into contests for prizes and experiences, and receive the monthly newsletter You can put your deposit down for season tickets as well for Sporting Jacks. Just go to sportingjacks.com to become a member. Back with more right after this. The USL national broadcast schedule continues on September 6th. ESPN2 finds Phoenix Rising taking on FC Tulsa. That's an 11 o'clock kickoff for you late nighters. Then on September 11th, CBS Sports Network, Birmingham Legion against the Tampa Bay Rowdies at 8 o'clock. And of course, all the USL Super League games are streamed on Peacock. We now welcome in Becky Burleigh, live in studio. Here we've got you. We brought her in. Let's start with where things stand with USL Super League right now. After 3 weeks, we've seen some big positives, like all the kickoff weekend games being sold out. We've seen some growing pains as well. What do you make of the first month or so of the USL Super League?
I kind of think it's what we expected a little bit, some positives and some issues, but this is a startup and it's going to get going very, very quickly. And I'm really excited to see what's going on already because there's been some exciting matches, some players emerging, some drama. Love it.
Do you think there's going to be some roster movement? What are the coaches and really the organizations looking to maybe adapt from week 1 and week 2? Now they got a little history behind them.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the more time you spend on the field, the more you understand what you need and what you want to be that you're not yet. But there's some players that haven't even hit the field yet. They're going to be really exciting players that are going to be added to the rosters or are currently on rosters but not yet able to play. So I don't think we've seen it all yet.
Yeah, in terms of the improvements that you expect to see early on in a season, I think they get magnified when you have a whole new league and a whole new group of teams. These rosters have only been together for a matter of weeks.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, when someone starts a team to when you're mid-season form, there's so many differences that occur, whether that's in personnel or whether that's in your identity, style of play, all those things. And I think everybody's still working through those.
So now we have an international break, which Super League is part of because they're on that FIFA calendar as well. So switching the gear to U.S. Women's National Team, Coach Emma Hayes coming off an Olympic gold. 3 games in 6 days, I believe it is. You got 2 against Iceland and Argentina. What do you think she's going to be doing with roster management, kind of call-ups, given now there's 2 leagues, more access to players?
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to watch. I think that there will be some interesting roster moves probably that we may or may not be expecting. But I also think it's an opportunity to play some people that maybe didn't get their opportunities. You think of players like Jaden Shaw, who didn't really see a whole lot of time in the World Cup or in the Olympics, but will get the opportunity because she's one of those players that's so exciting to watch.
Yeah, this is that opportunity to also play with an expanded roster. It's a bigger roster than you had at your fingertips in the Olympics, so you could play some more players, maybe get more players more minutes in this similar kind of thing where you're talking about playing 3 games in like 8 days. That's a bunch of soccer on the legs of some of these players who are taking a step away maybe from playing in the NWSL or other leagues around the world.
Yeah, that schedule is brutal, and I think it will allow her to have some player rotation, which is really good because I think that's going to give us as fans some excitement to see some players that we might not have seen yet.
Let's talk about how Emma Hayes continues to build the culture. I mean, she built it well enough to win a gold medal in the Olympics, but now this is the long haul. Now looking ahead, there will be other tournaments, but really the next one that's going to really matter to everybody is going to be that World Cup. How does she build the culture when she does have the opportunity to have those players in camp?
Well, it's so few far between when you're an international coach, so you have to really take advantage of every opportunity. But one of the things that I really enjoyed watching during the Olympics was the development of the leadership piece of it. We talked a lot about Lindsey Horan's role in that. And how does that expand to other players or deepen for Lindsey herself? And that's something I think Emma is really good at and we're going to see more of.
Yeah, if we can see that kind of leadership continue to thrive for the United States, we know literally the sky's the limit here. Gold medal is the limit and World Cup championship is a great opportunity. Becky, thanks so much. Always great to have you, and especially great to have you here in studio.
I love being here.
We'll get her back in here again before too long. All right, still to come, our youth soccer spotlight. We hear from local high school star Sydney Schmidt. She just committed to the #1 program in the country. That's next as the Sporting Jacks report rolls on. Sporting Jacks will be unveiling the official kit in the months to come, but already you can get your own Sporting Jacks official merchandise, from t-shirts and hats to sweatshirts and the scarf. You can find Sporting Jacks official merchandise at sportingjacks.com, at our official team store on Phillips Highway, and at We Got Soccer. Time now for our youth soccer spotlight, brought to you by the Bearded Pig. And today we are joined by Sydney Schmidt, a junior at St. John's Country Day and one of the top prospects in the country. Schmidt's a star for the Spartans and has played for the U.S. youth national teams. She recently verbally committed to play her soccer in college at Florida State.
Obviously, soccer-wise, it was as easy as a decision could get. I've always wanted to be in a program with the best players that are going to push me to whole new levels that I didn't think I could get to. But every time I get put in a situation like that, I feel like I always end up getting better. So really just knowing that I wanted to be in a position with the best players made my decision to go to FSU so much easier.
When you watch the Seminoles play, what is it that stands out to you, and what really spoke to you from a soccer standpoint?
I would definitely say how possession oriented they are, because I would say for me, keeping possession with my team is extremely important, and just not looking to kick it every time, and just like really slowing the game down and kind of calming it down just with passes and stuff. And then obviously like they're so great in the attack with scoring goals and everything. So I think that was definitely something else that was very intriguing to me.
Yeah, this has been such a run for FSU, and it's in the midst of a real push for women's sports in general, women's soccer especially, with what's happening with Emma Hayes and all this. Do you feel caught up in sort of this rising tide of women's soccer in America?
I feel like it's just like really awesome to kind of see all the pieces like finally falling together, because I feel like just with everything that's been happening like recently is like showing all these women like showing their power, and it's like really empowering to like the younger generations who are going to be the future. So I just feel like it's like super awesome to see all this stuff kind of finally starting to come together.
Yeah, and you've had your opportunities with the youth national teams to play internationally. What is that experience like? When you go overseas and play in these big, global tournaments, what do you take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Turkey, I feel like is a great example of like, because that was a friendship tournament. So we were in a hotel staying with the other teams and just really being able to experience the other teams' cultures and see how they like live their daily lives while then also playing against them in competition was super awesome. Germany, when I went there, was a little bit of a different experience just because we weren't staying with Germany and it was really like a rivalry match kind of. So that was like obviously a lot different. But just like being on those fields and like other countries playing against other teams who like don't speak your language, it's just like it kind of feels surreal, and it's like I'm in a dream. But it's just really it's so awesome.
What does it mean to you personally to be able to represent the United States and have that crest on your shirt?
I mean, it's such an honor, honestly, and I feel blessed every time I get to represent the crest. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of girls in America who would want to be in that position. And so I know every time I get the opportunity, I just need to take full advantage of it and really just honor my country.
Ultimately, what would you like to accomplish in your soccer career?
I mean, I would love to go pro one day. That's definitely my goal. I hope to keep getting called into all the national team camps and all of that, and one day be on the full side team.
Well, Mauricio, Sydney certainly has a very bright future and some big goals as well.
She really does, and what a mature young lady she is. We keep talking about like how impressive some of these young generation kids are kind of coming up, and she's not only impressive on the field but also off the field. 4.0 student, and we know a lot of people that are in her circle, and they just speak a lot about her. Once again, not just on the field but off the field. So having that representation for local players. She's representing the national team now, the youth national team. She's going to represent the number one team in the country in the college. What's next for her? I think that's going to just breed more and more excitement for the community here. It will be a great thing to be able to follow her career as the years go on. Hey, be sure to join us every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL for the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour on 1010 AM. You can also listen online or on demand at 1010XL.com. Still to come, we look ahead to the U.S. men's national team returning to the field. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report continues. You can watch the Sporting Jacks Report on Wednesdays at 12:30 on ABC 25, with re-airings over the weekend before the start of the Premier League broadcast on NBC 12. You can also find us on demand on First Coast News Plus and the Sporting Jacks YouTube channel. No Premier League fixtures this weekend with the international break, but we will see the U.S. face Canada on Saturday at 4 p.m. in Kansas City. Mauricio, you'll be there. What are you going to be looking for? Well, the sideline is going to look interesting because there's going to be an interim head coach on the USA side and potentially the guy that we should have gotten in the last opportunity in Jesse Marsh on the opposite side with Canada. So I think there's going to be a little bit of tension on the sideline, and I guarantee you that's going to transfer onto the field, because for Jesse Marsh, this is a World Cup in a sense of being able to prove himself as a coach, where he should have been a U.S. national team coach. A lot would argue.
It'll be personal for him. We'll see how the U.S. responds, especially coming off the poor performance last time out in the Copa America. More news from the USL Championship. Nick Marcanic will be transferred to La Liga 2 club CB Castellón after the 2024 season. It's a six-figure fee for the transfer and includes a sell-on clause for the Charleston Battery star and the league's leading goal scorer. Is this a big deal?
It's a huge deal for a couple of different reasons. Not only, obviously, it's a USL player, leading goal scorer in the league, making a transfer to Europe, but the fact that they've allowed him to stay and finish this season, that means that there are other suitors. Right, so they signed him, they locked him up, but they want to finish the season. They only did that because there are other suitors in the market that also wanted him. So it's a huge deal for him. It's a team that's up and down in the first and second division. So he get an opportunity to play come January time. It's
going to be very interesting. We've seen how good a player he is at the USL Championship level. Big goal scorer. He scored. He may wind up breaking the single season goals record for the USL Championship. Now he's on to La Liga 2 and a chance to maybe play in La Liga in the following year. Really tells you something about, I think, where not only Marcanic is as a player, but where this league is right now and how it's seen around global sports.
Well, absolutely, and that deal was done at the transfer room when I was in Madrid a couple of weeks ago. That initiated the conversation in there because of the knowledge of what's happening in the USL Championship. It's starting to transfer over to Europe, and the opportunity to get a young player like Nick to kind of get him across, still unproven in a way, maybe a little bit of a secret. He's going to have an adaptation for sure, what that's going to look like, but his preparation begins now. So the more transfers like that happen in the USL Championship, more eyes will come to it and more opportunities will come for younger players.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch for sure, and we'll look for more players making that kind of move in the future. Hey, you can follow us on social media everywhere Sporting Jacks is found, on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Right there, most of them Sporting_Jacks on Facebook and YouTube. Just Sporting Jacks to get the very latest on what's going on with the pro men's and women's soccer team coming to Jacksonville to start play. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Sporting Jacks Report. For Becky Burleigh and Mauricio Ruiz, I'm Cole Pepper. We'll talk to you next week right here on the Sporting Jacks Report.